Hola amigos! So today I have a very different type of video for you. I really wanted to give an update on what's been happening. It's been a couple weeks since I uploaded, and I really like just making these simple videos, sitting down in front of the camera and talking. So I thought that the fun way to do it might be to do a what's known as chit chat get ready with me, which is a common type of video in the beauty space on YouTube. And basically I'm just going to be putting on all of this makeup for you and also talking about what's been going on in our lives. I'll warn you that this is a challenge for me to do my makeup and talk, so it might actually be a really long video, and I don't know how much of the actual makeup will be included in the video, but I do talk about it a little bit here and there. I am going to link all of the products that I'm using in the box below if you have any interest in trying to replicate this effect. I know that some of you probably don't give two hoots about makeup, and that's okay. I implore you to just watch anyway to listen to what I'm saying. And if you don't want to watch this video, that's okay too. Definitely not for everybody, but if you like it, it would be awesome for you to give me a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed this style of video, and maybe someday I will do it again. So let's jump right into getting started on the makeup. It's actually 4 p.m. and it's a Monday, and I don't have plans to really go anywhere for the rest of the day. We might go out for dinner tonight, but makeup's not super important for that. I've got a bunch of makeup in front of me. I'm trying to be as organized as I can here because I have never done a video doing makeup on camera before. I think I have an okay setup here. I worked all afternoon at trying to get everything arranged so that it would be efficient for me to film this, but we'll see how it goes. On Saturday, I was doing my hair and I dropped my mirror. So all I've got right now for a half decent mirror is this little cracked one. There's a foam here on the other side, but it's one of the magnifying mirrors, so yikes. I don't think that's gonna work. But we'll see what we can do with this little piece of mirror. Thankfully, I don't think it's been a bad omen. I guess anything can happen, it remains to be seen. Also, I'll tell you more about this after, but we went to the beach yesterday and I haven't washed my hair since, so this is kind of like the beachy hair left over from yesterday when we were there swimming in the ocean. The first thing that I always do in my beauty routine every day, it's very, very important in general and also very important to me, is that I wear a healthy amount of sunscreen. It's not too bad right now, but I have rosacea. It means that I have a lot of redness through my cheeks, on my chin, on my nose, and on my forehead. And I've been working hard for the past probably year or so to try and deal with it. So it's important for me to wear a lot of SPF, and I of course watch a lot of videos on YouTube about beauty, and I've spent a lot of time trying to find a good sunscreen, and I'm still on a quest. The one that I do love and loved in Canada, I'm still loving, is the Supergoop Glowscreen. This is a beautiful sunscreen for wearing with makeup. I feel like such a beauty YouTuber. I'm doing swatching on my hand and everything. I'll show you when I put it on, but it is a tinted sunscreen that has glow in it. So it's like a dewy finish. I really love how this looks on the skin. It dries down nicely. It's a good primer under makeup. It's SPF 40, so not the greatest, but a pretty good coverage. I really am at risk for burning all the time, even if I'm out in the sun at like 8 p.m. because the UV index here is usually 10 through the day, which is the highest. So let's go ahead and apply some of that. I promise I'm not gonna like ramble on about makeup this whole entire video. I really did want to just intro it a little bit and then get on to talking about what's been happening in life. I'm kind of using the viewfinder as my mirror. The key thing with sunscreen is that you're supposed to put a lot. So we're talking like a quarter of a teaspoon, and then more on your neck and your on your chest as well. So I know that for a fact that was not enough. We've been here about 4 weeks now, and I feel like I'm starting to get settled in a little bit. Life is right now a huge question mark because our living situation is not permanent right now. We're still in our apartment that was provided when we first arrived 4 weeks ago. We're able to be in this apartment until August 18th, and we actually just found an apartment last week. So that is super exciting. We have somewhere else to go. We didn't want to be here any longer than necessary. This apartment is, I'm so grateful we had it. It was so great to be able to arrive here and have somewhere just to settle in and not have to be in a hotel. However, vacation rentals are notoriously bad for not having any storage, and especially here in Malaga or other parts of Europe as well, where these places are really small. We got a 2-bedroom apartment because Trevor needs to be able to work from home. It was nice to have 2 bedrooms, but it also means that the rest of the apartment is a lot smaller because essentially they take the same footprint and just add an extra bedroom. But it means there's nowhere to put anything. There's 2 closets. They're basically just wardrobes that are in the bedrooms. One of them you can kind of see right here behind me. That's the bigger one that's here in the master bedroom. And then the small bedroom just has a small kind of a wardrobe thing in the corner, and it's not very big. And that's fine for our clothing. We didn't bring a ton of clothes with us, so those work fine. But there's no storage anywhere else. The bathroom has just like a small vanity that is where I keep as much of my beauty stuff as I can. And then here in the bedroom is where I try to do my makeup, teetering on 2 small end tables. And in the living room, there's nowhere to put anything. There's a TV stand and there's a couple of drawers, so we've jammed some things in there. The kitchen has very few cabinets, so it's not very much space. Okay, I need to get on with my makeup. My God, I'm getting so distracted. This is harder than it looks to be chatting and doing makeup. Holy cow. Now, the next step is my foundation. I've been kind of on a quest for the perfect foundation here because, like I said before, I need to wear a mask a lot. Here we don't have to wear them outdoors. However, you do have to when you can't distance, and that's almost all the time where we are. So it pretty much means that we need to be wearing a mask when we're in public, unless we're sitting in a restaurant on a restaurant patio, or eating or drinking. So some people don't follow that rule and they go without a mask. COVID cases are absolutely spiking here, and they are well on their way to the highest point they've had since I think the 3rd wave, and it'll be like their 5th wave here. So it's really not good. There's a lot of COVID around. We had COVID when we first arrived. If you missed my last video, go check it out where I talk about that at the end. But because we had COVID, we don't really have to worry too much about catching it. So to abide by the rules and to respect other people, and also just because people don't know that we've had it, even though we're safe and we don't have to worry too much about catching it, I still think it's a respectful thing to do to wear a mask. So we do always wear a mask when we're walking around outside, unless we're literally in a space where there are no other people, which doesn't happen too often here because it is fairly crowded here in the centro of Malaga. For today, I think I'm going to wear my BareMinerals Complexion Rescue, because this one is another kind of sheer formula. It's a tinted hydrating gel cream. It also has SPF 30. This one is nice because it applies with my hands. I am getting slowly a little bit more tan as we're here, and I do occasionally do sunless tanner. So the shade matching is always really tricky because I have very pink skin, but my body is not. So I want to match my foundation to my body. And my body is also getting more and more tan, and my face doesn't get as tan because I'm washing it more often than my body. So the tan wears off if I am applying sunless tanner or even just naturally tanning in the sun. It gets more pale than the rest of my body. So I have 2 shades, Vanilla 02 and Suede 04. And what I've been doing is just kind of mixing them together. So I like using this foundation with my hands. I've tried it with a brush and a sponge, and both ways work okay, but with my fingers, I feel like I can just rub it in really well and it blends in pretty seamlessly and gives a pretty natural finish. So we recovered from COVID. I guess it's been like 8 or 9 days since we officially left quarantine. We're very lucky that our COVID symptoms were super mild and nothing has really been long lasting for us. I know some people have symptoms for a really long time after they're recovered. But we aren't doing too bad. Like, I feel like I recovered a little bit faster than Trevor. Initially, we were concerned about us having issues with getting really tired, but so far so good. As long as we pace ourselves and don't overdo it and get enough sleep, I think so we're gonna be okay. I suffer from migraines and menstrual issues and body aches, you name it. Like, I'm always dealing with some kind of pain. So it's not that different for me if I have any kind of lingering minor symptoms. And I don't really, I have to say I don't. But if I'm feeling tired one day, I probably wouldn't even jump to thinking that it was because of COVID, because I'm not always feeling super fantastic all the time anyway, sad to say. Trevor finds he needs to sleep a little bit more, but that's kind of normal anyway. So again, I don't know. I think we're really, really lucky. Because we had 1 dose of the vaccine, I think that protected us from getting the worst of the symptoms. Okay, you guys, I'm super distracted because I'm sitting facing the balcony doors and a pigeon just flew up onto the balcony ledge and it's sitting like 3 feet away from me, looking in the window at me. Anyway, that was distracting. His buddy came to check it out and then they saw that I was taking their picture and they got camera shy and left. We recovered and all of that was fine. We lost basically 2 weeks. We didn't, well, here the rule is that you have to quarantine for 10 days and we did that. So it's not quite as long as at home where we're quarantining for 2 weeks. But 10 days is long enough, let me tell you. So that put a real damper on our initial time here. We were here for about a week when we started quarantining, and then it was like almost 3 weeks in that we ended up being able to leave quarantine. So we've been about a week or so since then, and we're just trying to kind of settle into a bit of a groove. So yeah, we got a new apartment. We haven't signed the contract or the lease yet. I think on Wednesday we're going to meet with the realtor and sign off on everything. And we're not totally sure, but we're hopeful that we can get the keys that day. We have to pay 2 months of deposit, as well as a real estate fee, which it drives me insane. And people here are, especially expats who aren't used to this, are livid about it, but it's the way it works. The realtor actually charges a fee to the renters. So commonly it is up to 1 full month of rent. So if your apartment costs 1,000 euros, you also have to pay 1,000 euros to the realtor. And that always applies for certain apartments that are done through an agency. Okay, so I keep getting distracted. I'm terrible at this. I just put a little bit of concealer. I'm putting it in a few select spots where I feel like I just need a little bit more coverage, where I have redness, as well as in my under eye area. The agency fee is really high. We're lucky the place that we chose is only half a month. Okay, so I just finished blending out my concealer. Hopefully this looks okay. So we got our bank account set up and we were able to transfer money over from Canada using a program called Wise. Trevor did all the work on that, setting everything up, so I can't take any credit. But basically, we were able to transfer money into Wise from our RBC account in Canada, and then Wise transfers it into our Spanish account. And because they transfer it from their end, they send it in euros, which means our bank doesn't charge us a transfer fee. So it's the cheapest way we could find to transfer money. Because we have a fairly big chunk of money to pay on Wednesday, we had to make sure we could get some money transferred over in time to do that. Thankfully, our bank here, Sabadell, which is one of the main banks in Spain, is really good. They have English-speaking banking reps, and they have a really, really great app. So we can do all of our payments and transfers through the app. And they have a thing called Bisque, which is similar to an e-transfer in Canada. So it's an easy way to pay other people and certain businesses if you're buying things online. It's a really efficient way to do payments and things, and it's almost instantaneous from the app. And now I need to do some bronzer. When my skin is a little bit more on the tan side, I'm really liking this Hourglass palette. It is the Ambient Lighting Edit. It was, I think it was a limited edition, but they tend to put these out regularly with different combinations. So in this, I have an Hourglass bronzer, 2 blushes, highlighter, and 2 different face powders. So we got our banking in place. That part is done, and we have enough transferred over that we can pay the deposits on Wednesday. The other thing that we haven't gotten yet is our bank card. So with RBC or many other banks, it seems like they will give you a temporary card when you set up a new account, but for some reason here they don't do that. So we're waiting for our card to be mailed out, and because we don't have a permanent address for them to send it to, we actually had to have it sent to Trevor's office. So we have no idea when the card is coming. We have money in our bank account and we can do digital transfers, but we can't actually use it right now to pay for things when we're out, like in restaurants or shopping, groceries, etc. So that's been a problem because it means that we have to continue using our Canadian credit card. Not the end of the world. It works, except that RBC is charging a conversion rate on every transfer, of course, or every payment. So it's costing us a lot more than it needs to, as long as we're not able to use our account here. So hopefully that will come in soon. I'm just putting a little bit of powder under my eyes because I have an issue with concealer usually creasing. And I'm using this brightening powder, this one here in the Hourglass palette. So the banking is set up and we sign our lease on Wednesday. I'm hoping to do an empty apartment tour before we start loading it up. The one thing I haven't mentioned is that we originally were planning on getting a furnished apartment, but there wasn't much selection here. It's just a really hard time to find an apartment. It's proving to be a real problem. Things have picked up, even though COVID is by no means gone, but for some reason they still want to get tourism rolling. So people from other parts of Europe have been coming here in droves, and a lot of things are now being rented as short-term rentals. And people that were away are coming back now. So it just means that the selection has really gone down and the prices are starting to go up. So we decided, because we weren't finding anything good, to open up our search to unfurnished places and just devote a budget towards buying furniture. And because we did that, we actually found a different place that wasn't coming up on our searches previously. And my God, I cannot wait to show it off. It is such a beautiful place. It's a 3-bedroom apartment with 3 bathrooms. 2 of them are en suites. It has a kitchen that is probably the nicest kitchen I've really ever seen. Like, as far as the cabinets and stuff and the style, it's on the more basic side, is like design-wise, but it's new, it's modern, it's shiny, and it has brand new appliances. So that's really awesome. I'm going to apply some blush while I'm talking. The place it's on the 16th floor of a high-rise building, which honestly is not what I initially was thinking we would find here in Malaga. Like, I really wanted something that was going to be a little bit more of like the Spanish charm. And I have to say, there's like a small part of me that's still a little bit sad that we're not getting something that has more of the Spanish charm, but we've been in this apartment which has the balconies and it's on a busy street in the centro, and it has, you know, a lot of the typical Spanish things about it, and I'm kind of over it. Like, I'm tired of how small it is, and it is fairly noisy in this area. We're on a bit of a quieter side street, but we're on the first floor, which is funny. They say the first floor, but it's actually the second floor, according to like the way we say it in Canada or North America. It's the first floor above the bottom floor. That's basically how they do it. So we're on the second floor, but that means that we're closer to the street, so there's a lot more noise. Now we're lucky we have what they call double glazed doors and windows, so it keeps the sound out pretty well considering, but it's still pretty loud. So the high rise that we're in, we're on the 16th floor, which is like way above all the other buildings around us. And you guys, it has the best view. It's like a panoramic view of the entire port of Malaga. You can see as far as the eye can see into like the horizon of the Mediterranean Sea. You can see the whole like tourist area of the port. We'll be able to see the cruise ships coming and going. Unfortunately, that means we also have a really good view of like the industrial part of the port, but that's okay because it's amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to show you guys the view. That's going to be really a fun video to make. Because it's unfurnished, that gives me a project because now I need to furnish our place. On Saturday, it was my birthday. They say a lady never tells, but you know what? I don't care. So it was my 37th birthday. We got word on Thursday that we got the apartment. So my first thing was, okay, off to IKEA we go. We had been thinking for a week about this place, and we knew that it was unfurnished, which meant we knew we'd have to buy furniture. And the first thing I did was jump onto the IKEA app and start making a shopping list, because what I wanted to do was figure out how much we'd actually have to spend to furnish a place and to decide if it was truly feasible. Because we just sold our house in North America and we did very well on the sale of that, we do have some money stashed away. So for us, it was the fact that, you know, we knew we could afford to furnish it if we made that choice. And we're going to do it as reasonably priced as we can. So IKEA to the rescue. So on Saturday for my birthday, I did something that was probably my top choice, and that was to go shopping at IKEA. We got on the train and went from the center of Malaga to the area called Plaza Mayor, which is like an outdoor shopping mall. And across the highway from there is IKEA and a few other big box stores. I'm embracing going a little bit more natural with my eyebrows these days because, frankly, I just can't be bothered fussing over them when it's so hot and half the products just melt off anyway. Although this one has pretty good lasting power. My eyebrows never match, but I do the best I can. And frankly, it is what it is. If I have time, I will use the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter, which is a brow gel that really glues down my eyebrows. And it's just a clear gel. I just brush it through the hairs, and it's just like putting hair gel on your eyebrows to hold them in place. So we went to IKEA. We were there for about 3 hours, I want to say, which it was so busy there, and we were really parched. So at the end we went to the cafeteria and grabbed a snack and some water, and we did really well. So I had a pretty strong list already made from the website, but I wanted to be able to sit on the furniture, touch it, see the colors, you know, look at some of the options that were harder to kind of get a feel for on the website. And we were able to make a lot of decisions. So I think for the most part, I have decisions made on the big furniture, such as our bedroom furniture, our living room furniture. The one thing I had trouble with was the dining room, because they didn't really have anything that was jumping out at me to match the style I'm going for. So I don't know if I'm going to end up finding some dining room furniture somewhere else. IKEA is convenient because it's flat pack. They'll deliver it right to our apartment, and then I just have to assemble it. I don't want to be stuck choosing all IKEA stuff if it's not what I love. All right, let's do a little bit of eye makeup. So these days I'm keeping it fairly simple with my eyes until I want to do something fancier for a night out. One of my favorite little products right now is this Kaja, what do they call it, a bento box, I think. There's 3 shades in one compact, and it just opens up this way, these little pots. I just tend to use this light brown shade in the crease, and then I put a topper over it and call it a day. So yeah, nothing too fancy, just a little bit of that in the crease. Tap off the excess. And here we go with the other eye. So yeah, furniture, almost decided. Once we have the place on Wednesday, I want to go and measure because they weren't able to tell me the exact measurements of all the rooms. So I didn't want to make any final decisions until I knew for sure that everything was going to fit. The place is really big. It's like almost 1,900 square feet. So size isn't really a huge problem, but I also know that the main area has a beam in the middle of it in like the living room, dining room area. And I don't want to run into an issue where the beam is in an awkward position with the furniture sizes. So I'm just going to wait until Wednesday and hopefully we can get in then and see and measure and make a kind of a blueprint. The next thing I'm using is the Laura Mercier Caviar stick. It's like a sparkly cream eyeshadow. And I love using this, just quickly drawing it onto my eyelid. It's such a pretty kind of rosy gold color and it's so effortless and it doesn't budge. Just use my finger to kind of pat that out a little bit. Why do we always make this really dumb face? But I dare you to try doing eye makeup and not making that face. Okay, that's where we're going with the eyes. The last thing I want to do is just a tiny bit of black eyeliner. I'm just going to put it in my waterline, which is like the inner edges of my eyelashes. It just makes the eyelashes look thicker. You just have to be really careful not to stab yourself in the eyeball. I like to put it, I don't do this all the time. This is a little bit more of a extra step, but I like how it makes my eyes pop out a little bit more. So my birthday was lovely. We went IKEA shopping. We did a little bit more shopping in the actual mall area, but it was pretty hot that day, so we got a bit tired. IKEA wore us out. I love IKEA, but man, it's huge and it was so busy and we were so thirsty, so we just got really tired and we were ready to call it quits. We got some Starbucks, we walked around a little bit, but I'm not sure any of us actually bought anything in the shopping area. After we finished shopping, we took the train back to Malaga and came home for a siesta. We got home probably around 6 p.m. Literally took a nap, and I ended up just going onto my IKEA list and merging together my list from in the store with my list that I had made at home so that I could make my final version of it, hopefully final. And we had reservations at a lovely restaurant for 9 p.m. So one thing, I don't know if I've ever said this, but dinner here is always late. Restaurants mostly don't even open until about 7:30 or 8 p.m. And if you go at 7:30, you're often the only one in the restaurant. Right now is a little bit different because through the summer, it's just busy all the time. But if you want to be cool, you're going for dinner at least 9 p.m. And personally, that's great for me because I'm a night owl and I don't mind going out late. It's a little trickier when you have to get up for work the next morning and you're eating supper at 10 p.m. But it's just something that we're kind of getting used to. So we went for dinner at this beautiful place. I'm not going to say the name because I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'll put the link below. It was a really great place. If you're ever in Malaga, I highly recommend it. It was an art restaurant, which means that they use market fresh foods. The menu is chosen daily based on what they were able to get that day. It only has, I think, 8 tables inside, so it's really small. And it's an open kitchen, so we could see the chef making our dinner. They brought us a starter, which was like something kind of on the house that wasn't even part of what we had ordered. And then the meal was amazing. Some of the best food I've ever had. And then when I made the reservation earlier in the week, I put that it was my birthday, and I guess they remembered that, and they brought me my dessert with a candle. So that was kind of fun. So I got to celebrate and blow out the candle on my birthday, which is such a tradition in my family. I mean, it's a common tradition, but it's something that I do every single year. So that was nice to carry on that idea. On Sunday, we had a pretty chill day and we ended up going to the beach. When you're on the beach, there's no respite. So I thought that it would be best if I had an umbrella and a chair to sit on. So I bought a couple of those things earlier this week to have, and I finally convinced Trevor to go with me on Sunday. He's not a beach guy. He actually really doesn't like the beach. I loved it. It was super busy, but I went in the water, and the ocean was supposedly about 23 degrees, which is, oh, I want to say like 6 degrees warmer than it's ever been in the Atlantic near where we lived. Yeah, so it was really fun, and it wasn't actually that hot. We got there and it was super foggy, and I was so surprised because it doesn't seem to be foggy here that often. The sun ended up breaking through the fog, and it was actually a beautiful afternoon. We didn't find it too hot because the fog actually made it a little cooler at the beginning, and we didn't put up the umbrella, and then after we were sitting there a while, I think we felt okay. We wore a lot of sunscreen, which had to be careful that we didn't burn because we were like the palest things on the beach. That's okay. There's only one way to get a tan, and that is to be out in the sun. So we were working on that. Trevor got some blisters on his feet when we were walking home with his new flip-flop sandals that actually he threw right in the garbage because they actually were not comfortable at all. And he was like, I'm never wearing these again. And also he got stung by a jellyfish. So, when I say we had a really great day, I think I had a really great day. Trevor, not so much. A jellyfish swam too close to him and he got stung. So that was not very fun, but he said it hurt, but not too bad. So he didn't end up going for first aid or anything. I didn't realize that was something we had to be concerned with. And he went in the water after me. And if I had known there was jellyfish, I might not have been as brave to go in. So I guess it's a good thing that we didn't know that they were there. It hasn't even fully sunk in yet that when we step out our front door, we're in Malaga. Like, we are in Spain. We live here now. And the other day, yesterday actually, I needed a couple things at the store. So I ran over a few blocks to a convenience store, which is actually like almost a fully stocked grocery store, and got a few groceries. And it was only like a 5-minute walk from our apartment. I just couldn't believe this is my life now. Our new apartment is in a different part of the city, so it's really only a 7 or 8 minute walk from where we live now. It's not that far away, but it's in a neighborhood called Soho, which is, as in other cities like London, Soho is a little bit more of the artsy neighborhood. The restaurant that we went to on Saturday is actually in Soho. It's only a block from our place. You see a lot more of the kind of hipster type people and the artsier vibes and people walking around in more unique clothing and people that have tattoos and piercings and stuff. Like, not that you don't see that in the Centro, but it seems more, I guess, drawn towards the Soho area. So it's a little bit of a newer neighborhood and the buildings there aren't as historical as the Centro. I thought that Soho was just going to be a bunch of high-rise buildings with no character and that it would be kind of bland and it would be like a new neighborhood and it just wouldn't have any character. But actually, it's beautiful. I like it a lot. There's lots of trees. There's some quieter streets that have pedestrian only. There's a Sunday market once a month on one of the streets. It's not a very big neighborhood. I would make it akin to us moving from being in the south end of Halifax, not even the south end, more like the downtown area of Halifax, to living in the north end of Halifax, if that means anything to someone who's familiar with Halifax. A different vibe, but still close to everything, and there's lots happening in that neighborhood, and we're very close to the port and to the Centro, so it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from being at the beach or out for dinner in the Centro, which I'm excited about. And the fact that our new place has a huge kitchen means that we'll be able to actually get real groceries and I'll be able to start cooking. I literally cannot buy clothes in some of the stores because they don't make clothes in my size. And it's really frustrating me because I love shopping, but I'm really limited on what I can get. Even brands who carry larger sizes, you can't buy those sizes here. Stores that stock bigger sizes have limited selection. So I'm not plus size, but I know how people who are plus size in North America feel when they are limited. So one thing I want to work on is not just for vanity reasons, but for comfort, is to lose a bit of weight. I always kind of hoped that that would be easier once we were here and we were walking a lot, but I've realized that that's probably not going to happen until I start cooking more at home, because eating in restaurants, I mean, even here where it's the Mediterranean diet, which is known to be one of the healthiest diets in the world, when you're eating in a restaurant, it's still really hard to actually make healthy choices because it's easier to indulge. The portions are maybe a little bit bigger, although I have to say here they don't go as wild with the portion size as we do in North America. Yeah, and it's just different. So cooking at home is one way to control. And also it's easier to calculate what you're eating when you're making it yourself. I'm somebody who I just love food, and I've gone for the past at least 6 months with just not giving a hoot about what I'm eating. I haven't even tried to make healthy choices. And since we've been here, I've been more aware of that, because when I can't go shopping because nothing fits me, and I can't walk around in a skirt because my thighs are rubbing together and almost starting a small fire, like it's just uncomfortable when it's really hot and you've got skin rubbing together. And I don't know if anybody gives a crap what I look like. Probably not. I mean, most people are too busy thinking about themselves, but I feel self-conscious being a lot bigger than the average woman walking around here. And because I feel self-conscious and physically uncomfortable because I'm sweating, it's motivating me to want to lose some weight. And I know for many reasons, including health, that's a good choice. But I also don't want it to become something that's all consuming. I don't want to be in this diet culture, weight loss mindset. I don't want to be missing out on doing fun things because I'm worried about my calorie count. And I think somewhere in there, there's a healthy balance. I just need to find it. But the good news is that we have access to some of the healthiest food in the world. We have great fresh produce, tons of seafood, so much amazing fresh olive oil and olives. I hated olives before I came here. I do not like olives, but the olives here are better, and I actually do eat them. When you're in restaurants, they always give you a little bowl of olives when you sit down, and I do usually eat some of them because I actually quite enjoy them. So, you know, coming around to eating all these new foods that we don't really eat much at home, and they're healthier choices, so I'm hoping that that's going to help. And again, like when I'm out doing errands, it's easy for me to get 10,000 steps in a day. And also during quarantine, one way to help us from getting too stiff and sore and overtired was doing yoga. So I've been doing okay with keeping up and doing some yoga every day. I brought my TRX fitness straps with me, and I had high hopes of doing some TRX here while maybe going to the beach or to a park or something. I haven't been brave enough to work out outdoors in public yet, but I did pull out my TRX straps today and I was able to use them on the kitchen door. I also did some yoga at the beach one night. Now, unfortunately, the teacher is going away to her home country of Italy for a month and a half. So tomorrow night, Tuesday, is her last class until September. The actual class itself was really good, so I definitely want to keep going. I think that it's a great way to learn Spanish because she was teaching in Spanish and English. And this particular teacher is Italian, which means that she speaks a little bit slower. I was finding that when she was speaking in Spanish and then saying the English, I was understanding a lot of what she was saying in Spanish, which was really exciting to know that I could understand it if I had somebody speaking to me in like a slower pace. Laundry here is another ongoing saga because every apartment generally comes with a washing machine, and it's generally in the kitchen. We don't have a dryer, so we just have a drying rack, and we have to do small loads of laundry because the washer's pretty small, and then hang it out on the drying rack to dry every time. So it takes like a day and a half to do a load of laundry because we have to let it dry, and there's not enough space on the rack for more than one load at a time. Especially because here we don't have space for the drying rack anywhere, so it's like always in the way, and there's almost always laundry hanging up because we have to do so many small loads that we tend to just always have a load on the go. Okay, how are we doing with the makeup? Was there anything else? I want to do just a little bit of a lippy. So I've got a lip gloss, which is the Maybelline Lifter Gloss. This is a really good one. And a lip liner, so I'm just going to quickly line my lips. Keep it simple with a nice nude lip. Some sparkle going on there. Oh, one other unfortunate thing that happened is that on Monday, I decided to bust out of this place on my first day after quarantine when Trevor went to work. And I was out doing some shopping, and I walked around for probably like 5 or 6 hours in probably some like crappy shoes. And they were cute, but they weren't very supportive. And that night, my feet were aching like crazy, and it didn't go away. So I was doing some research, and it turns out that I think I had Achilles tendonitis. My worst fear was that it wouldn't go away in time for me to be able to do IKEA shopping on Saturday for my birthday. So I took it very easy this past week, which means that I wasn't really out and about as much as I would have liked. But thankfully, it's feeling a lot better right now. I do need to pace myself. If I'm on my feet for too long, especially if I'm barefoot, I can feel it flaring up again. So my heel starts to get really sore, and I can feel my Achilles tensing up. I'm certainly missing Sasha, my chiropractor in Halifax, but unfortunately I can't teleport her here, so I'm gonna have to find somebody else. So yeah, body needs to get in better shape because this is ridiculous. Like, we're falling apart every 5 minutes, and we got to get more resilient with this walking. We don't have a car here, and we're not going to, so it's going to mean a lot more walking than we're ever used to. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to tell you about. If you have any questions, definitely leave them below because I'm sure I missed things. The makeup part was a little bit tricky, I have to say. Talking and doing makeup, not easy. Yeah, so I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for watching until the end. It does really mean a lot to me, and I hope you'll continue watching and that you'll hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the thumbs up to let YouTube know that you liked this video. That's all for now. Adios, amigos.